Outright winners, Draftkings Darlings, players that can trip you up, all that much more as we break down the Rocket Classic. Welcome everyone to the Cut Line. I am your host, Andy Lang. Jan is very sick, been sick the last week or so he's going to go to the doctor. He's going to be off today. So we'll do a quick breakdown here of the Rocket Classic. First, we go over tails from the courtesy tent. These are the worst shots of the week. I don't have a whole lot of worst shots, but we got to talk the Lucas Glover situation. So Lucas Glover makes a putt on Sunday. He walks to the back of the green. He takes his shoes off. He walks back to the hole to pick up his ball, goes back, picks up his shoes, walks off, and then puts it back on. Some people have said he was protesting aim point. Then Lucas Glover said that, no, he wears metal spikes, and people were complaining about it. And I just got to say, I don't understand why you're wearing metal spikes in 2026. That was the weirdest thing from the story is metal spikes. Like, metal spikes, Lucas, come on. Lucas Glover, one of my favorite things about Lucas Glover is he does not wear gloves, and his last name is Glover. So, all right, let's break down the course. We are going to the Detroit Golf Club. This is a Donald Ross design. It's a par 70 measuring 7,328 yards. Not that long. This is not that difficult of a course. There are some holes where kind of just take par and move on, but there's a lot of attackable holes. The landing areas off the tee are pretty big in the fairways, but the irons is where you got to be really good. These greens are you could be super aggressive off the tee, but you don't want to be as aggressive with your irons. There's some runoff, there's some tough greens to hit. So I would say that you're going to see the aggression come off the tee, trying to set up a shorter iron play. Now, because this course is not that long, I don't think the longer guys have that big of an advantage, but there could be some wonky areas. There's some areas where there's some really thick grass in the runoff off the fairway. And there are also some holes where that grass gets trampled down really bad by all the patrons that are there. So every year it feels like towards the end of the round, somebody will spray a drive and they'll get a drop because it's by the stands, or it's supposed to be in bad rough, but the patrons have trampled it down. So there are some trouble areas that can arise, but for the most part, this is pretty straightforward. They're going to be well into easily in the double digits for the winner. So I'm looking at putting and irons on this play because I think driving, not really that big of an advantage if you're a bomber, but you do have to be accurate. But again, big, wide landing areas. So I would expect guys with really good putting and really good irons to be up at the top of the leaderboard. All right, one and done. I went with Tom Kim last week. He was meh. He was okay. That's pretty much the story of my one and dones this year is I pick a guy and they're just meh. So why not go a little crazy? That's what I've kind of been doing, picking guys that missed the cut. So I'm going to come right back with Wyndham Clark. He missed the cut last year, and he missed the cut in his last tournament at the Open Championship. Why not come right back to him? Before that, 13th, 5th, 1st, 11th, 3rd, 1st. He was the hottest golfer on the planet. I've not used my Wyndham Clark start. I didn't use it through that hot streak. So why not come off of it when he just missed the cut? Makes no sense, but we'll go for it. Let's go to total strokes gained. Like I mentioned, I'm looking at iron play and I'm looking at putting here. So just I can zoom in a little bit here. Last 30 days, Hideki Matsuyama is going to appear a little bit later. Hideki Matsuyama is your best total strokes gained. Problem is his approach has not been that good. Putting has been okay. Driving has been very accurate. Russell Henley, he'll be coming up a little bit later. Chris Gotterup, Siwoo Kim, Wyndham Clark. But if we want to look at who's the best iron player right now, you got a guy like Billy Horschel, but iron play is good, just can't putt. So if we go to look at who's been really hot putting, Webb Simpson. Okay, great putting, and irons kind of suck. So Wyndham Clark kind of checks a little bit of the boxes with how hot the putting has been. But the approach is very much due to his bad play at the Open Championship. If we spread this out over the last 3 months, you can see it's a lot better. So, Wyndham Clark. See his approach over the last 3 months, almost a stroke better. So those are some guys that I will be looking at for this week. All right, we go to Players that can trip you up. Last week, I went with Jake Knapp, who miraculously decided he could play golf, finished 13th. I had said Kurt Kitayama. I think he disappointed. He was okay, not great. And Keith Mitchell, 44th. Keith Mitchell keeps getting priced a top 5 guy and keeps finishing 44th. I don't get it. So, all right, players that can trip you up. First one, Xander Schauffele, priced as the second favorite to win. I don't buy it. Last 3 months, he's 12th in the field in total strokes gained. His approach and putting has been bad. His total strokes gained is boosted by his length off the tee. When you look at his total strokes gained, you're just like, not that good. And then you're going, how is his total strokes gained so high? Because he's a bomber and he's somewhat accurate. So only one top 10 in his last 8 tournaments, and this guy's priced to finish in the top 3. I don't see it with Schauffele. If Jackson Koiven plays, this is the most obvious fade. He won last week, so we're just going to fade the young guy who's coming off of a win. He was absolutely fantastic last week, but before that tournament, his putting and approach was below average. It wasn't even average. It was below average. So I think Jackson Koiven's got a bright future, but last week, let's just say he outplayed his usual numbers. And then finally, Patrick Cantlay, he's priced as a top 8 player. He's only got 3 top 10s this year. He's not that good here. 62nd here last year. Patrick Cantlay just doesn't do it for me this week. So Xander Schauffele, Jackson Koiven, and Patrick Cantlay are 3 players that can trip you up. Top 10 or missed cut. This is where we take a look at a player who nothing would surprise me. If they finish in the top 10, I'd get it. If they missed the cut, wouldn't be surprised. Last week, we picked Tony Finau, and he missed the cut. This week, we got some great nominees for this category, but I'm going to settle on Michael Thorbjornsen. He finished 4th here last year, but he missed the cut the previous 2 times playing here. His last 4 finishes are 40th, 7th, missed cut, and 54th. His putting is absolutely, truly terrible. Like, it's downright horrific. It's like me bad. The tee to green is good. Anything can happen with this guy. If he happens to get a hot putter like he did last year, I could see top 10, but if his putting still sucks, he could easily miss the cut. At the time of recording this, I don't have any head-to-head, so we move on to top finishers. This is any finishers that we have top 10, top 20, top 40. There's a really obvious one for me that jumps off the page. Hideki Matsuyama, top 20, including ties at plus 138 on DK. Wow, this guy was 3rd last week, 14th and 14th the previous 2 tournaments. He finished 13th here last year. The last 30 days, he's number 1 in total strokes gained in the field. His irons haven't been that great, but the rest of his game is taking over, and this is a fairly weak field. So getting plus 138 on Hideki Matsuyama, top 20, including ties, is an absolutely fantastic one. So, all right, move on to outright winners. I've got a long shot and I got a favorite. Let's do the long shot. Chandler Phillips, 240 to 1. This price stuns me. This guy's been playing really good. He was 3rd last week at the 3M, 15 at the IceCo, and 15th at the John Deere. This guy finished 13th here last year. The last 30 days, he's 8th in the field in total strokes gained. He's not super long off the tee. No worries there. So Chandler Phillips, 240 to 1. Again, when we give out these long shots, take a look at him in the top 40 market, top 20 market. So I could see myself getting a window on Chandler Phillips. Just sprinkle 240 to 1, but I bet we're getting a great price on top 40. And then favorite, I got to go with Russell Henley. You guys know Russell Henley. He's accurate off the tee. His putting has been absolutely lights out recently. He was 9th at the Open Championship. The guy's just steady as it gets. Don't be surprised if Russell Henley is in the mix come Sunday. That's 27 to 1. All right, we're going to do Draftkings Darlings. Before I do that, please hit the like button, drop a comment, tell us who you like betting on today. If you're watching this on Tuesday, it is $5 Tuesday. I have 3 plays that are up at Wager Talk. We've got a $5 UFC best bet that goes off on Saturday. We've got a $5 MLB player prop that goes off tonight. 19-5 run on those. Been one of the hottest things that I've been a part of in a long time. So last 24 plays, we won 19 of them. And then we've also got a WNBA prop that is up. WNBA is back tonight, so we got a really good prop that we like for that. All right, Draftkings Darlings. I had a sick week in DFS last week. Entered this thing in a contest of 459 people, finished 2nd. I was like 11 points out of winning. So this was crazy. This particular contest was only a $10 one. But yeah, anytime you can finish second out of that many people, it was a really, really good week. So let's keep the winners coming here. I'm going to start with my first DraftKings darling, Chris Kirk at 6,900. The man loves playing here. He's made the cut 6 straight years. 5 of those, he was 21st or better. He was runner-up last year. His irons are great. The putting this year has been bad, but based on how he plays here, it's like maybe he just loves putting at this place. So Chris Kirk at 6,900 will be a building block. We'll go back to Mackenzie Hughes, 4 straight weeks playing, 4 straight made cuts, including 20th and 10th. His irons have not been good, but the short game has really saved him. And all we need from our DraftKings darlings is to make the cut. So Mackenzie Hughes. And then Emiliano Grillo has to be in here at 7,200. He was 7th last week. That's 4 straight tournaments with finishes 26 or better. In the last 30 days, he's 7th in total strokes gained in the field. So Chris Kirk, 6,900, Mackenzie Hughes, 7,100, Emiliano Grillo, 7,200. Those are going to be the DraftKings darlings. And if you want my full lineup, just go to the news section at wagertalk.com. Go to wagertalk.com, and in the top right corner, it just says news, and you'll see the article that's up there. I write articles every week breaking down UFC, breaking down auto racing, a lot of good stuff up there. So those are free articles where you can see the rest of my lineup. All right, that's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for joining. Appreciate you guys. Hopefully Jan gets better. We'll be back next week. We're going to get ready for the playoffs. Golf season's almost over. Pretty crazy. Then we go into the fall swing. So hit the like button, drop a comment. Appreciate you guys watching. Good luck on your bets, and we'll see everyone next week. Take care.